All right, so welcome back. Welcome to the second part of the program. And before we go into the details of what we are going to do, what is going to be different in the second part, so let's take a quick look at what we have achieved so far in the first part. So now we are going to start with some statistics. So first off, we did around 40 sessions, and we had 12 lecture sessions, 2 problem-solving sessions in which you guys came out to the whiteboard, introduce yourself, explain the problem, go over your approach, and finally do the walk over on your solution code. And we had 2 learning how to approach sessions in which we focused on solving a problem end-to-end. From the beginning, the first moment we read the problem, developing a solution by using your paper or the whiteboard, and finally implementing our solution. So the second session especially, we didn't do a great job, especially in the sense that we didn't test our codes very well. So we had a couple not accepted submissions in the first place, but I think it was a good lesson for us as well. Like what we do in those sessions should represent what we are supposed to do in the real contest environment. So moving forward, we are going to spend more time in testing in those learning how to approach sessions as well. And we have competed in 5 different contests. And we finalized, like we basically did over 80 one-on-ones. So up to this point, thank you very much for your effort and collaboration. And I think our first part was successful. So now let's take a look at some cumulative results. Like we solved around 2,108 problems cumulatively, all of us. This is the number of uploads that we made to GitHub as a team. And once you think about it, like it was something that none of us can achieve personally in such short amount of time. But once we accumulate all the effort that comes from everybody, we can achieve such big results. And it actually means over 60 problems per person. And usually they recommend solving between 100 to 300 problems before getting ready for the interviews. So it means our accomplishment is right now somewhere between 60% to 20%. So I would rather aim for the better preparation and set our number by 300. So in that case, we can say we completed our 20% progress for the whole program. And in the second part, we need to achieve 4 times what we had achieved so far. And in our first contest, if you remember, we had only a few people who were able to solve the first problem. And we didn't have anybody who solved 2 problems or 3 problems. But in our last contest, everybody attended the contest, they solved at least 1 problem. We had some 2 problem solvers, some 3 problem solvers. So even by these contest results, we can see what kind of improvement we are having in such a short amount of time. Like it hasn't been that long. We started by the 2nd week of November, right? So, like, and if we also include the vacation, like, the total time that we dedicated, it's around 1.5 months. It's not that much at all. And we have almost the same amount of time that is left before the interviews. So, in terms of time, this is marking our 50%. But in terms of effort and the results we are going to get, we are around at 20%. So I would love to set expectations correctly so that we know what we are going into in the second part of the program. So let's take a look at the first problem of the first contest, which most of us struggled with finding a solution. Oh, by the way, why didn't you tell me that the slides are not on? I was under the impression that you guys are seeing everything I was saying. Okay. All right, so the first problem of the first contest was beautiful strings. And in this problem, they had a definition of beauty for strings. If 2 consecutive characters are equal to each other, that string is not beautiful. Like any 2 consecutive characters are equal to each other, that string is not beautiful. Otherwise, it is beautiful. So if you take a look at these examples like AB, AB, CB, this is a beautiful string. But if it is like AAA, then it's not a beautiful string. So we struggled solving this problem. When we had our first contest, it was after a couple lectures, I think. But now, I'm pretty sure this is going to be very trivial to everybody. Like after solving this problem, maybe in like 20 minutes, you would be looking for the next problem. So this is what we achieved so far. But what we want to achieve is we should be able to treat the same way for the first 3 problems of Div 2 in Codeforces. So whenever you see the problem, it's going to feel trivial, and then in 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to find the solution and then start implementation for all of them. Like each 5 to 10 minutes solving time. So, the topics that we had covered in the first half. We started with the basics, like types, loops, functions. What is an algorithm? And then we integrated with 3 different platforms, Codeforces, LeetCode, and GitHub. We are using Codeforces mostly for contests, LeetCode for practicing, and GitHub for uploading our codes. And then we dive into sorting algorithms, and we covered insertion sort, selection sort, quick sort, merge sort, counting sort, and radix sort. We also evaluated them in terms of performance, memory usage, whether they are stable or not. After that, we continued with basic data structures. Arrays, dynamic arrays, stacks, queues, trees, heaps. Then we covered recursion. And we solved a lot of problems about recursion so that we feel comfortable using it when it is handy. And in the last 2 weeks, we were covering binary search and numerics. So, like, we have a good list. But again, this is not all. And the topics that we are going to cover in the second half of the program is starting with hashing. And then we will take a look at graph traversal algorithms, breadth first search and depth first search. And then we will go over topological sort, tries, greedy approach, and dynamic programming. And finally, before the interviews, we will also cover medium level graph algorithms, shortest path, all shortest path, and minimum spanning tree. So at that point, we will cover, I would say, like 95% of the tools that you're gonna need in any kind of interview environment. In very extreme cases, they might ask questions from these advanced graph algorithms or advanced data structures, but like personally, I had never experienced that, except one interview with Palantir. And probably like I was on site, I had maybe at least like 10 on-site interviews. So meaning, once we get to this point, our coverage will be good enough for performing well in the summer internship interviews. And after we get the interviews in the first 2 weeks of March, we will cover these advanced data structures, range minimum query and binary index tree, as well as advanced graph algorithms, Maxflow, Mincat, and bipartite matching. So, the second part of the program, we will start with answering question why. So it's important to remember our objective. Our aim is to get an internship at Silicon Valley this summer. Okay? So the program is going to be useful in the long run, no matter whether we achieve our objective or not, but this is our objective. And it's not just for one person, it's not just for 5 people, it is our objective for every member of this team. Why? Why do we want this? Because there are some benefits that we get by this summer internship opportunity. First off, the experience that you are going to get there. Like these companies, they are building stuff that is used everywhere. We are using it every day. Those technologies enable them to know more than we know about ourselves. Like if you ask me what websites I visited how frequently in the last year, I don't have an answer. I can have a guess, which might be close to reality, but if we check the records of Google Chrome, we are going to see it directly. And I'm pretty sure it's not just the case for me, it's the case for many of us. Or like these phones, they use our locations. If you ask me where I was like 5 months ago, again, I can have a good guess, but they have the real data. So, building such technologies that are used by everybody, this is not an easy task. If it was easy, then we would have these companies everywhere. So, we should respect what they do and understand why they are successful. Because there are things that they are doing better than their competitors. That's why they achieve these results. So, the experience you're going to get is the most important thing in my opinion. Because you are going to be working with the smartest people, the most ambitious people from all around the world, which have the same objective, which have the same curiosity as you do, and which at some point in their life put this effort and studied hard to get better at problem solving. So the second benefit of this is the label. When I go somewhere, now I introduce myself as ex-Googler or ex-Liftoff or ex-Palantir employee. So when I do that, the doors open for me because everybody knows Google. Maybe Palantir and Liftoff, they are not as famous, but everybody knows Google. So if I didn't have these credentials when I come to here and talk with Mr. Naknayal, it wasn't going to be easy to have this opportunity. Basically to have access to teach the smartest software engineering students of the best university in 100 million population country. This is definitely not an easy opportunity to get, and the reason I was able to get this was my label. So, moving forward, if you have an internship at a well-known Silicon Valley company, then that is going to be your label. It's not going to be Addis Ababa University graduate or Addis Ababa University X-year student anymore. I'm not saying to discredit Addis Ababa University, don't get me wrong. In my opinion, Addis Ababa University is one of the most underrated universities in the world right now because it has access to talent like you guys. But unfortunately, it doesn't have reputation. So if you just apply somewhere with your title, that's not going to be enough to sometimes even get the interview. And one of our objectives is to change it in the long run. Like with the help of your guys' success in this program, this university is going to be more well-known in Silicon Valley. And next year when the new generation is applying for summer internship, they wouldn't need our personal reference. Because of your reference, they are going to give them the internship opportunity. Sorry, internship interview. At the end of the day, again, it's going to be on you guys, right? If you perform in the interviews, then you're going to get the internship. So, label is important, and this is going to change your label for sure. Third, money. Like we will see in this video, like these companies are paying on average like $7,000 per month. And you guys are going to be there for internship only 3 months, meaning you are going to be in the lowest bracket for the income. And you're going to be paying very little tax. Plus, they also give you some housing subsidy and stuff. Like on average, let's say you also decide to party, you know, hang out with other people and stuff, you are going to be at least saving 4K per month. 4K per month, 3 months, so you're going to be coming back to Ethiopia with 12K in your pocket. So I guess it's not going to feel like poor student anymore, right? I'm pretty sure you can do a lot with that money. And you are free to do whatever you want. The fourth benefit, connections. In the business world, everything works with connections. Do you guys know what is the real benefit of the business classes? Like, you know, people do MBA, right? Masters in Business Administration, like 2 years program. What do you guys think that they are teaching there, the most valuable thing that they are teaching there? Like basically they are doing team building over there. They basically teach people how to work with each other. So they collect 150 smart people. They make them do some activities together. They make them work on some projects together. And these people get to know each other. And in the end, they have great connections with each other. And they help each other. Because once they start working in the business life, you are going to need something that you don't have that information readily available in your mind. Or you have no expertise or skill on that area. So what are you going to do? You are going to give a call to your friend, right? And if that person cares about you, you're going to get your things done. But if that person doesn't care about you, things are going to be harder for you. So, the connections you're going to make there is going to open even better doors in the long run, you know? So, that's another benefit I see in such internship opportunity. And finally, the fifth benefit I see in such opportunity is mindset. Like, you are going to see mindset of different people over there. So, in the context of this course so far, I was trying to show you my perspective. But everybody looks at things from different perspectives. And none of them is superior to each other unless they have expertise in that thing. So that's why I want you to observe, I want you to experience that mindset by yourself. You know, like you're going to go there, you're going to interact with many people that are coming from different backgrounds, but they also share some values. Like you are going to see multiple ways of doing the same thing, right? It's going to make you more open-minded. You're going to see that those people usually have growth mindset. They apply growth mindset in many different areas, and you will be like, okay, so maybe I can do the same thing. I have growth mindset in this, and that, but I have fixed mindset on all the other things. Maybe I can improve myself by having growth mindset on these things as well. These are the benefits that you can get by internship in Silicon Valley. So, now I want to show you a little bit of this video. The picture of like what do they ask in the interviews, how much they pay, what kind of benefits they provide you in case you get accepted. So now let's get back to our slide. So,
The light coming.
yes. Yes.
In the video, he didn't say much about the research group. Why don't you just give us
I guess it's because he didn't go through Google interviews by himself, or just he had to cover a lot of companies, that's why. Rather than that, I would say since it's a big company, in Google interviews sometimes you might see some hard problems, but sometimes you might see more trivial problems. Like basically the way it works is there is a huge pool of problems that the interviewers are allowed to choose from, and as problems get glassdoored or they become available to people on internet, then they get blacklisted. And so since there is a huge pool, like it really depends whether the person choose an easy problem or a difficult problem. But as far as I, like at least when I left, they didn't ask any design questions to summer internship candidates. So I don't expect them to change that policy. Actually, like the general trend was asking less and less design questions to internship candidates. The reason is like software design is a skill that you build by working on real projects, big scale projects. So with a few years of industrial experience, it's a very easy skill to pick up. But at the same time, without that, it's really hard. So that's why like it's kind of random to evaluate people who are not knowledgeable or who don't have that skill. So that's why the companies are moving towards asking less and less design questions in summer internship interviews. So, some of the members that were part of the team in the first part, they are not going to be with us in the second part. Some of them, they had personal reasons. Some of them, we weren't quite happy with their performance. So I don't think any of them are here at the moment. And if they were here, we would gonna give them a chance to speak up and convince us if they still want to be part of the program. So we had some other members which we considered maybe we can leave them out, but they wanted to have a second chance. So that's why I'm not gonna mention about them. But moving forward, these people are not gonna be with us. And if you have any questions about it, you can ask me in person. Since they are not here, I don't want to talk behind them, okay? So, things to improve on. Like basically in the second part of the program, if there is something that want to improve as a skill in yourself, or if there is something that you want to work on, please write it down. Like this is a very personal thing, you know? I gave you one example from yesterday, and I'm gonna read more about what I'm gonna apply in the second part of the program now. So just give me a second. Let me find the right page. So, like basically I have 4 things that I want to improve on. The first one is writing every day. And the reason I would like to do this is to keep in touch with my life better, get better at writing, and keeping my loop closed. So currently I live my life a little too spontaneously. This has been fun in my 20s, but for my 30s, I need to step up my game. That's what I had written like 3 months ago. So after that, I didn't start doing this, but with the help of the second part of the program, I'm gonna start doing that. Like maybe I was writing every other day or something, but I wasn't doing it every day. And in the second half, I'm gonna do it every day. That's the first thing that I'm adding to myself. So the second one is, I want to evaluate my daily performance at the end of the day, every day. The reason I would like to do this is to close the gap between my reality and my perception of it. Like basically we understand what's going on once we take a look. Without taking a look, we don't measure. But once we take a look, we measure things. And once we measure things, we get the chance to improve on. Because if we are doing well, at the end of the day, seeing that is going to give us the motivation to do better the day after. And if we are not doing well, if we didn't use our time in a good way, then facing with this is going to again give us motivation to do better tomorrow. So that's why in any case, understanding what is reality, like taking a look and measuring, it is always beneficial. That's why I want to add this to my system. So this was something missing in my system. Like at the beginning of the day, I was writing down my objectives, what I want to do today, what I want to achieve, what's my main focus and so on. But I wasn't evaluating my performance regularly, every day. Maybe I was doing this evaluation weekly, but how much do you remember about what you had done 6 days ago? I guess not much, or at least in my case, I don't remember that much. So, in my opinion, it would be better to do it every day. So this is going to be the second thing that I will be doing in the second part of the program. So, the third one is planning what to do before. Once my energy drains out, I make poor choices on what to do. Additionally, set of actions I can get at a given time decreases as we get close to the time. Meaning, if we want to do something tonight, number of things that we can do is very limited. For example, we cannot have a trip to another place, right? We didn't book tickets and stuff. But if we are making a plans for 6 months later, there are a lot of things that we can do. We can even maybe organize a trip to Turkey and have a dinner in a good restaurant or something. So it's feasible because it's far, because we can plan ahead. But as the time gets closer and closer, number of options we have available, it decreases. So that's why, if you plan what to do before, you're gonna have more chance to make them real. Like without that, if you live every moment spontaneously, the number of options that are gonna be available at any given point is gonna be limited. Like obviously, as a result, you're gonna be covering a smaller area rather than, making a plan ahead and then also including some of the options which require a lot of planning before and make them your reality. So, like for planning thing, I would say I improved on that. So, like moving forward, I do more of planning, but still, it is something that I can get better at. So, not just short-term planning, but as well as long-term planning. In the second part of the program, I will be doing this regularly as well. So, as an actionable item, I write, make a weekly plan on Sunday. And this was the third one. And the fourth one is long-term learning. So I need to dedicate 1 hour every day to one thing that I want to learn in the long run, no matter what. That's the only way to reach mastery, I said in my notes. So what do I mean by long-term learning? So there are some skills that you can improve on in a very short amount of time. But there are some skills that is going to require a lot of time to get to the professional level. For example, if you want to play an instrument, like you can dedicate maybe 1 hour every day and in 1 month you can be a beginner. But if you want to be a very good musician, then you might have to dedicate that regular consistent hours maybe for at least like 3-4 years. Maybe even more. But here the real point is consistency. Because once you keep doing the same thing again and again, it is always fresh in your mind, so you can build up things on top. But if you take a long break, and then you come back and spend a lot of time, take another long break, spend a lot of time again, then most of the time you are spending is gonna go with the covering the first part that you had to come back because of the break. Like you can think of this as if you're standing, you're not standing in life. Like there is always a movement. If I'm putting some effort in this direction, like I am walking like this, right? I'm putting effort every day, so I'm making slow but steady progress. But let's say I am putting some effort one day and then 5 days I'm not doing anything. And one day, let's say I run. I came here and then 5 days I don't do anything. I go back slowly. And then one day again I run a lot. And then 5 days slowly I'm going back. I think you guys see the difference, right? So for long-term learning, consistency is super important. And that's the fourth thing that I want to add to my skill set in the second part of the program. So right now, I want you to take a moment, think about what you want to add to your life, because this is a personalized thing, right? Everybody has different challenges. And write it down. It has to be actionable. You should write why you want to add this to your life as well. And the last thing is the actionable item. Like, for example, right now I can measure all of them. It says writing every day. If I'm writing every day or not, I can answer this question at the end of the day very easily, right? It's actionable, or it's measurable. Second, I want to evaluate daily performance at the end of the day. Again, whether I evaluated my performance or not, it's measurable. So the items that you are adding, they have to be measurable as well. Okay? So please take your time and do that. Like, let's have 5 minutes for this. Yes. How we were trying to develop our skills as individuals, meaning like everybody had their own trajectory, like we were setting up some personal goals, and you were able to get back to the sheet, work on some old problems after a while, if you have a dance schedule or something. But in the second part of the program, this is not going to be like this anymore. So in the first half, we had enough chance to get to know each other. Like, you guys saw me, I saw you, we get to know each other. And it's not just between you and me, also like between your classmates. You had the chance to get to know each other as well. So, moving forward, in the second half, we are not going to be individuals anymore. We are going to be a team, only one team, and everybody is going to be responsible for the performance of everyone else in the team. The reason we are doing this is we know that there is a lot of power and synergy that comes through becoming together. Like, let's say first, let's consider the evolutionary point of view. What is the main reason behind the success of humanity? Why are we on top of the food chain? Are we the strongest? Definitely not. Are we the fastest? No. Are we the largest? No. Like, if we evaluate things, different metrics like this, except our intelligence, we are not going to be superior to other animals in any of these metrics. Like, we are not going to be number one. But we are smart. But what is the reason that we are smart? It is because of our collaboration. We collaborate with each other, and then we become way more powerful than any other species. This is what evolutionary point of view says. How about religious point of view? Like, why people actually perform better than all the others? What is the reason? Like, is there any religion that is not promoting being together? I don't think so. Or at least the common ones, they all suggest you to get together to achieve great things. Because as individuals, we don't have all the skills. The world we are living in is so complicated. So from both approach, the power comes from collaborating. The power comes from being together. And that's what we need to achieve in the second half of the program. Because we have very limited time. We are starting countdown tomorrow. We don't have more than 45 days. So we need to raise up our level in a very short amount of time. And to achieve this, we need to help each other. We need to be together. So in the second half of the program, at the end of the day, we will finish that day. If there is something that you are struggling with, you can ask me, you can ask your teammates. And we are going to finish it on that day, and then we are going to move on to the next day. So there are basically like two different sections in the second part. The first part is during the final period. So in the final period, we have to come up with a plan. Like, which days are the best to have lecture sessions as well as practices. And after that, we will have 1 day of vacation, and then we will start the camp. Because is there anyone in this class that don't really want to get this internship opportunity at the end of this 40 day? I don't think so, right? Everybody wants that. And to make sure that everybody is going to get to that point, what I'm asking is we should do our best. Personally, I assure you, I will try to do my best. And I want the same dedication from you. At the beginning of the program, this is what I asked. Like, I said 20% of this is on me, and 80% of this is on you. And for that 20%, I'm going to try to do my best. This is going to be my main focus. I will continue thinking, I will talk to other people, I will try to come up with new approaches, how we can make this better. And I want you to show the same dedication, not just for the sake of yourself, for the sake of the team. Guys, I want you to realize this. If this program becomes successful, there are many benefits that we can get. I'm not going to talk about the individual benefits. First off, the label of the Addis Ababa University is going to improve. Meaning, next year, once new generation is applying for summer internship, they'll get the at least interview. Second, you guys, like I had the chance to talk to you in person, you guys put humanity first. I think this is very important. This is not easy to find in the other places of the world, but this is what it is in Ethiopia. So, your value system is so good that I really want you guys to be in power in the long run. And if you get the summer internship, I assure you your trajectory is going to be affected in a very good way. So that's why if you know yourself and if you know your friends, please do your best so that you can be an example for your teammates with your, not just with your words, but at the same time with your performance. Meaning, in the second half of the program, whenever we see something that is not right, we are going to call it. If you see me wasting my time, if you see me doing something wrong, call me. If I see something that is distracting you, that is affecting your performance in a bad way, I'm going to call that too. So no hard feelings. Because let's keep our objective in mind, okay? We are working for this objective, right? That's why. Otherwise, I don't want to hurt any of you guys' feelings. But if there is something that we need to improve on, I'm going to call this. If I don't call this, I would do something bad to you by not calling it. So, I want the same for everybody to show the same perspective to everyone else. Okay? So, moving forward, we are going to work as a team. And finally, in the camp, it's not just going to be about problem solving or communication skills. Like basically we are going to do some activities for team bonding as well. And start thinking about this. What can we do? I'm going to need your feedback for that too. So, any questions up to this point? No questions? So everybody is happy to be part of this team? So do you guys really believe that we all are going to get the summer internship opportunity at the end of this program? I want to hear it.
Yes. Yes.
I want to hear it. Come on.
Yes.
Okay. So, good luck and thank you very much. As always, we are going to finish with the quote of the day. What worries you, masters you. Like if you really want to get good at something, then you need to keep thinking about it, okay? This is very important. So if you have this in your mind, then you're going to do something about it. Once you do something about it, you're going to get better at that. So, I don't care about your personal potentials, I don't care about your personal skills. What I really care is whether you reached your potential or not. And what I want is, in the remaining 40 days, I want to see the best of you, okay? I want to see your 100% dedication in this program. So let's also think about what this is going to affect your other responsibilities in life. You guys are coming to the final period, right? So, how many courses are you getting? Every one of you are getting 5 courses, right? So, realistically speaking, let's say you screwed in these finals because of the competitive programming studies. What is going to happen? Your cumulative GPA is not going to be affected more than 0.1. It's not going to be affected more than 0.1. If you didn't get well prepared for these classes, you're going to get worse grades. But it's going to be evaluated with all the other courses you are taking. It's not just this semester. And who cares about whether your GPA, cumulative GPA at the end is 0.1 higher or lower? Let me tell you, only your current self, not your past self. If you talk to your past self, that guy is not going to give a shit about that. If you talk to your future self, if you are in my position after 10 years, again, you will realize that it has no value at all. Like, if you're not 3.01, 2.99, and like we basically choose you guys based on also your CGPAs. No one is at that range. It's not going to make any difference. I don't even know what was my CGPA when I was graduated. It was 3.6 something. Like maybe 62, maybe 64, maybe 65. Nobody asked me. No one is going to ask me again. So That's just a number, okay? And as I said, I'm not asking for you guys to sacrifice and dedicate your time for the rest of your college career. No. This is till February 15th. Not for too long, okay? So it's okay to get a little bit lower grades in the finals. But in the end, if we can get the summer internship, this is going to affect your trajectory a lot. And that's what we want, okay? Please keep this in your mind and approach things this way. Because if we do our best, I wholeheartedly believe, if we put our best effort, everybody can get summer internship opportunity. Maybe not this year, because there is also luck involved in this, you know? Like maybe your interviewer, he's gonna have a bad day, and then no matter what you do, he's gonna find some reason to not hire you. So it is possible. I cannot guarantee it. But at least I can tell that everybody is gonna reach to level to get that chance at the end of this program if you do your best, if you put your best effort. Okay? So we don't have much time. People are usually getting prepared for 6 months, sometimes 1 year. We don't have much time. That's why our pace is gonna be higher than other people. But in the end, we can do this. And we can do this only with your collaboration and effort. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions,